Most men have no idea how attractive they actually are, and the reason is simple. Nobody teaches men to recognize attraction signals. Women have entire conversations about this. They dissect every look, every word, every micro expression. But men are left guessing, wondering, second guessing themselves constantly. So today, I'm going to fix that. I'm going to give you 8 unmistakable signs that you are a highly attractive man. And some of these are going to surprise you because they have nothing to do with what you see in the mirror. If 3 or more of these apply to you, I need you to understand something. You are not average. You've just been blind to your own value. Let's fix that right now. Sign 1. Women hold eye contact with you just a little too long. This is the sign that hides in plain sight, and most men miss it completely. You're in a conversation with a woman. Maybe it's casual, maybe it's professional, maybe it's someone you just met. And somewhere in the middle of that conversation, she holds eye contact with you for just a beat longer than necessary. Not staring, not aggressive, just lingering. Like she's studying something in your eyes that she finds interesting. And she's not quite ready to look away yet. Most men don't even register this. They're too busy thinking about what to say next, too caught up in their own head to notice what's happening right in front of them. But that extra half second of eye contact, that's not random. That's not how she looks at everyone. That's a woman's nervous system responding to something it finds compelling. And it goes beyond one-on-one conversations. Pay attention to what happens in group settings. When something funny is said and everyone laughs, where do her eyes go? If they go to you, even briefly, that's one of the most reliable indicators of attraction that exists in human psychology. We instinctively look at the person we feel most connected to in moments of shared emotion. If she's looking at you during those moments, she's not doing it by accident. Her subconscious is doing it for her. You've probably been missing this signal your entire life. Start watching for it. You'll be stunned by how often it's been happening right under your nose. Sign 2. People open up to you quickly. Here's one that seems like it has nothing to do with attractiveness, but actually has everything to do with it. You meet someone new and within minutes they're telling you things that feel surprisingly personal. Their struggles at work, a problem in their relationship, something they've been thinking about that they don't normally share with people they just met. And you're standing there thinking, why is this person telling me all this? We barely know each other. This happens because you carry an energy that makes people feel safe. And that energy is one of the rarest and most attractive qualities a man can have. It's not something you can manufacture. It's not something you can learn from a script. It's a frequency you emit that tells people on a level below conscious thought. You can let your guard down here. Most men have no idea they have this effect. They think it's just random. They think people are just talkative. No, people are selective about who they open up to. If strangers and acquaintances consistently reveal personal things to you early in the relationship, you have something that cannot be faked and cannot be bought. You have presence, real grounded, safe presence. And in a world where most people feel guarded and anxious around others, that quality is worth more than any physical trait you can name. Women especially are drawn to this because a woman's deepest desire in a partner is not excitement, it's safety, not boring passive safety. The kind of safety that comes from being with a man whose energy says, nothing you show me will scare me away. If that's you, you have no idea how powerful that is. Sign 3. You've been told you're intimidating. This one confuses a lot of men. You've heard it from women, maybe from coworkers, maybe from friends. You're kind of intimidating and you don't understand it because you're not trying to be intimidating. You're not aggressive. You're not rude. You're not walking around flexing or trying to dominate every room. You're just being yourself. Here's what your intimidating actually means. Most of the time, it means your presence is strong. It means you carry yourself with a quiet certainty that most people aren't used to encountering. It means you don't shrink, you don't overcompensate, you don't feel silence with nervous energy. You just exist with a solidity that makes other people suddenly aware of themselves. And that makes people uncomfortable. Not because there's anything wrong with you, but because most people are operating on a level of quiet insecurity that they've normalized. When they encounter someone who seems settled in themselves, genuinely comfortable in their own skin, it acts like a mirror. It reflects back everything they're not yet at peace with in themselves. And rather than recognize that, they label you intimidating. Women who call you intimidating are often telling you in coded language that they find you attractive, but don't feel confident enough to engage with you directly. It's not a criticism, it's an admission. They're saying your energy is strong and I don't know what to do with that. And the reason they don't know what to do with it is because they don't encounter it often. Because men with genuine, unforced, quiet confidence are genuinely rare. If you've been called intimidating more than once in your life and you couldn't figure out why, now you know. It's not a flaw, it's a signal. Sign 4. Women do small things for you without being asked. This one flies completely under the radar, and it might be the most telling sign on this entire list. A female coworker brings you coffee without you asking. A woman in your friend group saves you a seat. Someone you're dating remembers a tiny detail you mentioned weeks ago and acts on it. A woman you barely know goes slightly out of her way to help you with something you didn't even realize you needed help with. Most men brush this off. They think she's just being nice. She's just a thoughtful person. She does this for everyone. She doesn't. When a woman goes out of her way to do something small and unrequested for a man, it's almost never random. It's her way of signaling investment. Women don't typically invest energy, attention, and effort into men they're indifferent to. They just don't. Indifference looks like politeness. Investment looks like action. The distinction is subtle, but crucial. Politeness is responding when spoken to. Investment is initiating without a reason. If women in your life consistently do small, unrequested things for you, they are drawn to you in a way they may not even fully understand themselves. They're orbiting your energy. They're finding reasons to be in your space, to contribute to your comfort, to make themselves useful in your world. That's not kindness, that's attraction. Wearing the disguise of kindness. And if it's happening to you regularly, you're significantly more attractive than you think. Sign 5, you don't feel the need to prove yourself. This sign is different from the others because it's internal. It's not about what other people do around you, it's about what you don't feel compelled to do around them. You're in a group conversation and someone starts talking about their achievements, their salary, their car, their vacation, and while other men in the room feel the subtle pull to compete, to one-up, to insert their own accomplishments into the discussion, you feel nothing. Not because you don't have achievements, but because you don't need anyone to know about them. Your sense of self isn't built on external validation. It's built on something deeper, something that doesn't need to be announced to feel real. This is extraordinarily attractive, and here's why most men will never understand it. Because they think attraction is about displaying value, showing what you have, making sure everyone knows what you bring to the table. But the truly magnetic men, they do the opposite. They understate. They let people discover their depth over time. They carry their value silently, like a man with a loaded wallet who never mentions money. Women are incredibly attuned to this. They can feel the difference between a man who knows his worth and a man who needs them to confirm it. The man who knows his worth sits back. He listens more than he talks. He smiles at the posturing happening around him without participating in it. He doesn't compete because he's already won, not against anyone else, against his own need for approval. If that description sounds like you, understand something clearly, that quiet self-assurance is one of the most magnetically attractive traits a human being can possess. And most people spend their entire lives trying to develop what you already have naturally. Here's what I want you to take away from this. Attraction is not a single trait. It's not a checklist of physical features that you either have or you don't. It's an energy, a frequency, a way of moving through the world that either draws people toward you or pushes them away. And most of it happens below the surface, in spaces that mirrors can't show you and compliments can't reach. If you recognized yourself in 3 or more of these signs, I need you to recalibrate how you see yourself. Not with arrogance, not with ego, with accuracy. Because the most dangerous thing a highly attractive man can do is walk through life believing he's average. It warps his decisions. It shrinks his ambition. It makes him settle for situations and relationships that are far below what he's actually capable of attracting. Know your value, not because anyone told you to, because the evidence has been in front of you your entire life. You just weren't paying attention. If this video opened your eyes to something you'd been overlooking, hit that subscribe button. I make content that helps men see themselves clearly, not through hype or flattery, but through truth. The kind of truth that actually changes how you move through the world. Drop a comment and tell me which sign hit you the hardest. Which one made you stop and rethink something you've been dismissing? I read every comment and I'll see you in the next video.